Hello everyone! Today I am super excited to finally be able to share with you my new studio. This has been a project for months. I think I started painting in October, and then my uncle and I had to put the flooring in, I had to build all the furniture, and then of course get all the stuff in here, so it's been a lot. But it is finally finished, and I finally get to show you all around. So enjoy the tour. This is the view as you walk in the door. As you can see, my computer desk's at the end. Don't worry, we'll get there in a second. On the left, we have this shelf unit that has a whole bunch of figures and interesting stuff, so I'll show you that too. The door, of course, just come into the room. We have more shelves here. So I guess let's start with here. So on top we have Wolflink and Midna Papercraft that I built a couple of years ago. And then all of this shelf has art supplies on it. It is 90% paper. So on the bottom shelf here we have larger paper and wood panels. There's some canvases. On the end here we have my portfolios that have all my art in them. The next shelf also has more canvases, more wood plaques. There's some paper that I don't use as frequently on the end. The next shelf is my most used papers. So we have all of the toned papers here, black paper, gray paper, tan paper, and then we get into more drawing and marker type paper, some Bristol board, and then all of this is watercolor paper. I'm sure by now you know that I mainly paint in watercolor, so it is always up here for me to grab easily because it's what I use the most. Just different sizes, they're kind of organized from type and size. Here there are some unfinished paintings that are already taped to masonite boards. There are just some empty masonite boards that I can use to tape paintings on. The next shelf has my Prismacolor markers in these cases, and just some random other art supplies, some extra masking tape, clear gesso, there's some salt for different watercolor painting. In the back there's some Turpenoid, there's watercolor ground, and then my spray cans for sealing finished artwork. These are the two I use all the time. I know some people wonder what I use to preserve my artwork, and these are them. I mainly use this one on basically everything, but I like the fine art one for anything that's more smudgy, like pencil crayon type things and pastel, anything that could come off on your hands. The top shelf, well, the coffee seems random, but that's for an upcoming video. I hope to try paint with coffee, but other than that, this entire shelf is wood plaques. So they are kind of organized. We have the ovals I use all the time here, some more decorative ones that are larger up here, smaller ovals. Yeah, there's just a ridiculous amount of wood plaques. I got made fun a lot of for having this many wood plaques, but I like my wood plaques. There's some just flat wood panels, kind of like canvas boards, but wood, some armature wire for a sculpture I want to do, just smaller wood plaques, you get the idea. Now over here in the corner we have a roll of paper, some clear acetate-y kind of stuff in there, just bigger rolls I don't really know what to do with. There's some black paper in the very corner. And now I guess we'll go to these shelf unit things, display cabinets, whatever. Well, down here we have my printer that I use for making my prints. Two Alex drawers from IKEA. I mean, 95% of the furniture in this room is IKEA, so if you're wondering where it's from, just assume it's IKEA. I'm not going to go too much into the drawers just because I'd be here forever, but this one kind of has more art supplies stuff. Like the top drawer has more unfinished paintings and random loose pieces of paper. Like I said, don't want to go into too much. There's just some extra art stuff. That one has more technology type things. So we have like extra cords, tripods, cables, portable chargers, extra mice, boxes for different things. The next one's kind of like that. More in the bottom here, we have extra art supplies, so that I just don't use as much. You'll see when I get further into the room that I have my more used art supplies in an Alex drawer that's closer to where I draw, but this is the stuff I don't grab for as much. So this one has some, well, these are metallic leaf papers, but other than that, everything is kind of more drawing stuff. The next one is more painting, like acrylic paint stuff. And then the bottom one is more watercolor things that I don't grab for as much. And then up to the display cubes. This one just kind of has some random figures in it right now because I didn't know where else to put them and the cube was free. I mean, this room is really just move-in placement at this point. So I'm sure in a couple of months things will not be where they are right now, but this is just a look at what it looked like when I moved in, basically. Above that, we have my Defiance paper crafts. We have Arissa and Stama. Hilariously, this cube was placed very specifically there to be able to hold Stama on top of it because she is very tall and very annoying to try and put anywhere. And I definitely wanted to have her in this room because she is one of the most complicated things I have ever built. So she needed a space, so she got her own special cube specifically placed there for her. The next one has the Zombie Gaga Monster High doll that was limited edition. Again, this kind of is placed there because it won't fit into any of the cubes, but I like it and I'm happy it can be shown because it's a super interesting doll and I love Lady Gaga. So that's placed there. This one's kind of a random Zelda cube. We have the Sheikah Slate tablet from Breath of the Wild, and then this was a limited edition print thing that came with some special edition Link Between Worlds something or another. Above the next cube, we have my paper Howl's Moving Castle. This is one of the two that I have. The other one is in my bedroom, but this one, again, is very large, very hard to place anywhere, and I'm super happy that it actually has somewhere to live above one of these cubes. This cube is about the only cube that has in it what it intended, and that is extra technology things that I don't need on my desk. So we have my microphone that I record voiceovers with. We have a tripod connector thing that is for my tripod that you'll see in a minute. You know, what you attach to the camera to put on the tripod. We have a wide angle lens for my camera there, and then this just has some memory cards in it. Last cube is kind of random. It has some extra headphones in it. My old camera's in the back, as well as a painting that me and my friend made. We did our initials, so that's what that is. The Google Cardboard right there. On top of that cube, there is my claw shot grappling hook from my Zora Armor Link cosplay. So that's there. Similarly, we have more armor from my Link cosplay. We have my arm guard and my helmet. Then we have Midna's helmet there. If you can see it, it's kind of dark in the corner, I know. And then just above these shelves, there is more. There, you can see better now. So there's Midna's helmet, Zora Armor helmet, arm guard, and then on this shelf we just have old Zelda paper crafts that I've made over the years. Some of them are semi-famous, like that Skull Kid is actually in a book. It's a published work, I know. Very strange life. But yeah, just Zelda paper crafts. Above that on the shelf, and then of course below the shelf, beside the cubes, we have my Nanoleaf lights that I'm absolutely obsessed with. That's just the color scheme that I had on before, but I can program them to be whatever color I want. They can react to music. They are amazing lights and I'm obsessed with them, and I'm probably going to end up with way more on this wall because I love them. Beside that, on this wall, we have a couple of light boxes. We have the Penny, actually these both have videos. The Penny Dreadful light box that has the atrocious amount of detail in the house is there. It's my largest light box I've ever made, so again, super annoying to try and find a spot for, but it works there for now. And then Breath of the Wild light box. And then, of course, we have my computer desk. It kind of looks the same as my old room, but it actually isn't the same desk because it is one of the really cool IKEA ones that's ergonomic and goes up. And I love this thing so much. I oogled this desk for years and I finally now get to have one. So I'm obsessed with that. We have my Cintiq, my speakers, my iMac computer, which is what I use all the time, wallet, my Cintiq pen, my smudge guard that everyone asks about, just some general computer stuff, headphones, droids, because doesn't everyone want droids on their desk? Beside the computer, we just have some, usual desk stuff, some pens. This calendar isn't normally here, but this is the video look through for December because I've got lots of stuff planned, so I figured I better write it out. Just some more pens in there. Above this is like the only artwork that actually made it over here. It was above my desk in my other room, and it's important, and if you followed me for a while, you probably have heard about why it's important, but yeah, that's there. And then above that, on this shelf, we have my paper life-size Majora's Mask that I made. I guess before we get over here, we better turn around completely, and this wall I didn't really get a chance to go through. But above it, we have a bunch of other statues. We have this Epona and Link one. I'll show you anything that's on the other side too after, don't worry. We have Paper Zelda that I made a long time ago. We have Paper King of Red Lions. And then we have my Wolf Link head, which I am so happy that his finally has a home because it's the most favorite, it's my favorite thing that I've ever made. So I'm super happy that I get to see it all the time now because it has a spot to live up here instead of just being in storage. Guess we'll start down this way, I guess. Just have the Zelda collection of strategy guides. You probably can't see, but it's a treasure chest of strategy guides. This is just random stuff, I think. Yeah, random bin of things. This more Legend of Zelda stuff, the puzzle, the chess set. There's a Macker that I made as part of my craft website tutorial thing that I still do. I'm revamping it, all that stuff. Paper wind baton, Wind Waker, just random Zelda stuff in that cube. That cube also just has random storage things. The bottom, there's a sewing machine that we would use for the craft website, some print type storage, like that box is bags, for shipping, just more shipping supplies there, bags, mailers. We have the collection of Lady Gaga magazines, projector for now. This just has a Zelda light that isn't plugged in. I don't know if you can see, but it's like stained glass that I made a long time ago as a tutorial. This is a paper light box that's just being stored there for now. And then we have a limited edition special Fan Expo Star Wars lunch pail. This shelf has some more Zelda figures. Ganondorf statue, Link on the other side, I'll show you him later. The question block Mario cube that I did a tutorial on a long time ago. This has all random stuff again. There's craft things in there that I've made. This shelf is just random books that are huge and can't fit on a bookshelf. As I'm sure you can guess, I mean, this thing is 20 pounds. This has just, again, more random storage stuff. That's what these cubes are for, is to shove random storage things in. That shelf is, again, shipping supplies, mailers, binder that has all information in it. This has musical instrument stuff, so cleaning cloths, reeds, anything musical instrument related. This is the random shelf of video game characters. You have some Lara Croft statues, and then other ones on the other side that I'll show you. This is like the random Star Wars shelf, another Fan Expo limited edition lunch pail, a Porg mug so he doesn't get broken. That's kind of the only reason he's there right now, because moving rooms around, you don't want to break your Porg mug. That is the remote control for my display cabinet lights, which you'll see in a bit. This is a Lego Microblock Totoro that I built. More Zelda statues. You have Skyward Sword Link here in the back of a Breath of the Wild guy, which you'll see. This one, it has a Kleenex box just there so I can reach it if whatever side of the wall I'm on, and my Moleskine and more important sketchbooks that I use all of the time, well, more of the time. It's like, it's all Moleskines, I'm pretty sure, just in various sizes and types. Like this one is my watercolor Moleskine that I'm almost finished with, and then I'll do a tour on. This cube has art supplies that I reach for a lot that are larger, like my pencil cases of my Polychromos and Prismacolor ones. They don't really go in any drawers, so they're just here so I can reach for them quickly. Some very thin pencils, Prismacolor fine lines, watercolor pencils. This, I'm pretty sure, is pastel pencils and some more Prismacolor stuff. This is kind of random crafty things and also kind of store things. We have business cards. These have extra prints in them. Some of my Women of Star Wars ones, and it has like extra print paper. The ACEO card drawer, just kind of stuff like that. This has all shipping supplies, so like my tape gun, mailers, more print sets there that are already pre-printed, like the limited edition prints and stuff. Just shipping supplies, basically. Then back over here beside my desk, we have an Alex drawer. I guess, well, underneath my desk there's nothing. There's just a garbage can in my chair. But this Alex drawer that has all art supplies, and then on top of it we have one of my studio lights for filming, because I always film on that desk there. We have some bamboo just sitting on top. This I don't really want to go into too much of, because it's just a bunch of art supplies. If you want an art supplies collection video, just tell me and I'd definitely be up to making that. I just don't want to, like, I'm sure this video is going to be atrociously long without me going into this. But this top drawer is just stuff I grab for all the time. And similarly, all art supplies that I reach for more often. So before we get to that desk, I'll just give you a pan of the rest of the room behind the wall. That's what that looks like. I guess we'll start over with the desk though. There's the closet in the back there. But yeah, let's start with the drawing desk. So here we have a magazine holder that has my swatch sheets in it and stuff that I use all the time. There's my most used paint palette that you see in basically every video that I do. And then just along the side we have art supplies that I use super regularly, you know, my masking tape, water brushes, extra erasers, all of that stuff that I want within arm's reach. Just a garbage can down there. And then this, on this shelf thing, there's just, again, kind of art supplies that I reach for all the time. So we have a bunch of different pencils. There's some like extra things in here. This is white acrylic paint if I need something to be super pigmented. Some fine line markers, other types of markers and pens, my Pentel brush pens in here, the metallic pens that I use to sign prints. This is kind of random watercolor stuff, some straws for blowing water across the page, white the collection of various white gel pens and paint markers and stuff. Some of the super tiny brushes just so they don't get lost in my usual brush container. On my desk, this is where I film all the time. That's the tripod that I use all of the time. This is my most grabbed sketch supplies, so it has my kneaded eraser, my Tombow eraser, the mechanical pencils I use all the time, just all of the drawing supplies that I use the most regularly is in this thing, so I can just grab it super quick. That's just kind of a random paint palette that's sitting there right now. We have my macro lens, which is what I take painting pictures with all the time. My most used watercolor brushes. So these are the ones that I use constantly. They're just in that. Around this softbox light, we have this drawer divider thing that has paint and other things that I grab for a lot. Then we have the pencil sharpener of all pencil sharpeners that you hear me rave about, and a succulent. Beside that, we have my paper master sword. This is, if you've been following me for a really long time, you'll know that I built a life-size Link. This is the same sword pattern, but this is actually my sword that I used for Zora Armor cosplay. So the sword itself is actually fiberglassed, so it's super strong, and then the sheath is on it too. So yeah, this is all paper that I've just reinforced to be able to use for human use. Now if we just swirl back around here, as you can see, this is the other side of the wall divider shelf unit thing. We have my chill out couch area. Above that, there is this, of course, crazy glare. You can see my reflection. This is just a Star Wars poster that I really love because it has like every character from the original trilogy and the sequel and the prequel trilogy in it, and I just really like the artwork. Beside that, we have my Darksaber that I made. I actually have another lightsaber that's going to be going beside it, but I'm waiting for the stand to put it on the wall. But when that's there, there'll be a lightsaber there, and then my Darksaber. Now, back on this side of the wall, you can see the back of Wolf Link, the King of Red Lions, back of Zelda. We have Midna here, that's facing this way though, and then the back of Epona and Link. I guess we'll just go across. For the other side, so we have Breath of the Wild Link, Fox Squirrel from Nausicaa, or Castle in the Sky, that's a plush. Twilight Princess Link statue, another Fan Expo Star Wars exclusive lunch pail. Behind that treasure chest Zelda thing, there's just a Link plush and one of my light boxes. Just more Zelda things. The other side of that Zelda light, question block cube. Here's the other side of the random Star Wars shelf. It has these metal earth models that I made, and then the other side of the lunchbox. Again, this one's kind of like, you can see it on the other side, my sketchbooks, art supplies, random video game shelf, random box of whatever. This one has my iPad Pro and my Apple Pencils behind that and stuff. It fits perfectly in there, so I thought that was a pretty good spot to put it. You can't really see behind there because I have my couch there that has, of course, my paint pillow and my Studio of MM pillow. Just, yep, the other side, just you can see more of the shipping supplies and books and all of that stuff. Now, on the other side, we have these bookshelf and display cabinets. We reach for that thing. We have the lights in the top that can change color to whatever color I want. Yep. I don't know if the light's probably going to mess it up if I keep it on, but we'll try first. So it's display cabinets in the top and bookshelves in the bottom. This is like my temporary crafting area, as well as my alto sax and flute. Just sit there to stay safe for now. But this desk is just pushed into the end of the bookcase, so this is kind of my crafting area, so any cosplay stuff that I want to work on, or not necessarily painting things, is just an extra surface for me to work on. Before we get to the display cabinet area, I guess, this is just, these books are just art books that are shorter, more art books, lots of art books. All the art books are in here now. They're kind of organized from like digital art and traditional art. Underneath the desk, down on the bottom shelf, there's all like my movie art books, Star Wars art books, TV show, anything that's like media and not just like informative art books, I guess, like more inspirational type art books that are mainly movies and TV shows and stuff are there. And then we have just some random office things, my battery for my camera charger, all of that fun stuff. So, to the super exciting part, the display cabinets. I'm going to turn those lights off because I think they're going to mess up the camera. So, I guess I'll open the doors up to get rid of the glare. This one is all Star Wars figures. So the top shelf, we have all of these Disney Store figures that are really cool. They're kind of organized for what set, like this is the newest set off in this corner here, that's the Last Jedi figures. But there's just Force Awakens ones, Rogue One ones, original guys, my Rebels crew up there, and then we have my Hot Toys Rey and BB-8. The next shelf are Black Series Star Wars figures, so they're kind of in order. We have the Rebels crew, we have a Jyn Erso in the back, Ahsoka dueling Darth Vader, Force Awakens with Leia and Maz, and then the Rogue One crew, and then Leia and R2 and 3PO just kind of chilling back there. This shelf has all of my smaller Star Wars figures, which are basically just Clone Wars and Rebels figures. The back we have some Jedi Masters, more Rebels figures, the Rebels crew, a couple of Sabines because I cosplay Sabine, so I made it my mission to own every Sabine figure, which I have succeeded in, which pleases me greatly. We have the Imperial row, the Sith and Inquisitor row, and then the Clone Wars crew back there, and I'm obsessed with that Ventress. We have some Funkos, some more random figures, a Sabine and Ahsoka, helmets, and then some ships there. Just gonna close those doors and we go to the next cabinet. And this one also has a bunch of Star Wars, but the top, stand up on the couch I guess, is going to be the easiest way to do this. The top has Zelda figures. So we have some of the limited edition statues in the corner, lots of the Nendroids and the Figma guys, because I really love how those figures are created. I'm sure you can tell by now that I'm love collecting figures, but that's my thing. I'm not really into posters or anything like that. Figures are my thing. We have the Breath of the Wild limited edition statue in the corner. This shelf isn't really finished. I'm waiting on doll stands for those Forces of Destiny guys. We have a Millennium Falcon that I built. Black Series Darth Vader, which lights up. The Stormtrooper. We have a convention, let's get rid of that so I can see this. Convention exclusive Rey and Luke and a Ventress, because there aren't enough Ventress figures in the world. The bottom shelf is basically a Rebels shelf. We have the convention exclusive Thrawn in his epic case that I refuse to take him out of. Lego, Ghost, and Phantom. And then these are all my Rebels Funkos. So you got the usual crew. Hera and Ezra are actually signed by the voice actors. Yeah, both Sabines, the Inquisitors in the back, all of that fun stuff. I forgot to say, up here is Rey's lightsaber that needs to go on the wall, but it's just chilling out there for now. I'll actually do a pan around, I guess, at night so you can see what it looks like all lit up in here because it's pretty cool. Now, beside the display cabinets, we have another Alex drawer here, and my instruments. On top, we just have a turnabout thing that has some extra supplies in it, some Sharpies, extra pencils, extra white gel pens, just different other paints and stuff up there. There's just this jar of random craft stuff. This has more acrylic and craft type brushes, like what I would use on different crafts and acrylic paint and all that kind of stuff. That just has different types of watercolor brushes, like these goat hair, like Chinese calligraphy type things, different kind of things there. This Alex drawer here just has more craft type things, like in the top we have my shipping labels, but everything else is just more geared towards different crafts that I do. Like there's some jewelry stuff in here, acrylic paint, all of that stuff. If we turn around here, we have the closet, which I guess we'll start off with the most ginormous thing, which I'm sure you're wondering what on earth it is. This is actually a prop from the TV show Defiance. It's Stama's cloak. It is actually the cloak, and I'm super happy that it actually has a home now. You can see all the details on it. It's just hanging up here for safekeeping, but it's one of my favorite things that I own, so I'm super happy I get to see it every day while I'm in here. Just do a pan. Stepping back a bit, this is the flatbed storage that I made from IKEA desktops and legs in it. As I'm sure you could guess, as it is flatbed storage, we just have kind of paper and other things that need to stay flat. So we have like my print making paper, my large watercolor paper. This row has some wood plaques and other finished art that are just kind of being stored there for safekeeping. This has some more random things right now. Again, move-in ready, just so it has some other Defiance props kind of shoved in here. Like these are the gloves, Stama's gloves that came with the cloak, because that's what she wears with the cloak. Just things like that. Portfolio that has prints that are up on my store right now that I haven't sold yet. The top just has a cutting mat in case I ever needed to cut any paper in here. That's just kind of sitting there. This is a paper cutter as well. More of the magazine holders that have some extra paper, like scrap paper that is big enough that I could still do something with, extra pieces of foam core, just some more random paper things. Beside there's some plexiglass and stuff. On the other side of the closet, I'm not sure how good you're going to be able to see this because I'm like in the corner. It's a tight closet, but I tried to get as much storage in there as possible. So there are these wall shelves from IKEA again, my printer station, and another Alex drawer. This again has more craft things in it. In this corner here, we have one of my easels, and it's mainly photography equipment. That's extra studio lights that I used to use and aren't currently using. Normally there's another soft box here, but that's a photo backdrop stand, and that's some extra Worbla. Just some cardboard for packaging up bigger print orders, other random cardboard and other stuff that I'm keeping to use for different crafts and cosplay and whatever. The printer is sitting on top of these drawers that have colored, of course that one doesn't, that have colored cardstock in them. They're all organized by color. Just my shipping label thing that I'm currently using. More cardstock and scrapbooking type paper. More colored cardstock. On this first shelf, it just kind of has random stuff right now. Beside it, there are these tubed things. So these are foam tubes that just fit perfectly there, so they're staying there right now. Some of the craft acrylic paint that I use for different things. This has foam and felt in it. This is just kind of more storage. We've got extra Kleenex boxes, paper towels. Back there, I know Star Wars has erupted in this room. Some clear Worbla. This has all yarn in it. That's my spray booth. Up here, there's just like the storage that I don't need to use like the most. So in the bin to the left, there are my Christmas decorations that I've made. That has random paper crafts. This is just basically storage that has ornaments in it to make. This is the random bin of materials. Just the closet is 90% storage of things that I don't use, with the added touch of a display area. So that is the entire studio. I hope you enjoyed this tour. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.